Back to MLG Championship Sunday.
And we have a great game coming up for you guys. We have Polt versus Oz. It's a pretty damn good game coming up. Terran versus Protoss. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
It's delicious. It's delicious, Apollo. I want it. I want it now. And I have to wait only a moment to make that happen, thankfully. Some exceptional runs from both of these players up to this point.
And as we can see there, we have Polt on screen and Oz as well. Both of these guys having decent runs in pool play. Remember, they were in pool play. We can get the game underway. Oz went 3 wins and 2 losses. Polt went 2 wins and 3 losses. And that meant that Polt had to play an extra game today where he managed to just come off a 2-0 victory against Fnatic's Alive. And now he has to go up against Fnatic Alive's teammate, Oz.
Yes, he does. Will Oz be able to get revenge for his fallen teammate? We will find out. We are now into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to bring you in the red trunks, playing Terran to the east of Antigua Shipyard, TSL Polt. And his opponent hailing from Team Fnatic in the blue trunks, playing Protoss to the west. It is Fnatic Raid Call Oz.
And Polt used to be one of the best Terran versus Protoss players out there. Like, he used to be one of the best. And the reason why he was is because he was one of the first players to hit the mid-game aggression style. He was one of the frontiers of that style, where you go 1 barracks expand, and even the 1-1-1, I know about that too, don't forget about that, even the 1-1-1 style, and he used to use 1 barracks expand as well into 5 barracks 2 base pressure.
Yeah.
And he won so many games with that style. But over the recent couple of months, is that Protoss have been adapting. They've actually been getting stronger at holding these aggressive styles. And Oz is one of those players as well, and which shows in his recent, victories against Terran players.
Certainly, and I have to wonder if Polt can actually handle that. Polt has been doing really well in foreign tournaments. TSL seems to send to everyone they possibly can, and with good reason, because he's consistently placing highly.
Yeah, I mean, at the last MLG event, Polt managed to, beat Oz.
Yep.
The last MLG event. Oz did get revenge in Code S, though, just a couple of months back. So these guys are very close between each other. Polt knocking him out of the Winter Championship. I'm sure Oz is peed about that one.
He'll be a little bit miffed, Apollo.
And then knocking Alive out here today. And imagine if he beat Oz again here. Oh my god. This guy would become a target for Fnatic. But we do have a Nexus first coming down by Oz here.
Yeah, gutsy stuff. Knowing perhaps that Polt is the kind of guy that likes to go 1 racks, expand. Doesn't tend to use 2 barracks against Protoss anymore. Not a very popular opening.
Yeah, not at all. And he sees the command center down there with the probe, and is more than happy. He doesn't need to get a second gateway to rush it out here. He's like, well, 1 barracks command center, I can deal with any early Marines with just a single Zealot, to be honest, and I'll have enough time to get the Cyber Core out and a Stalker to push this back. So in terms of where they are in the game right now, Oz is in a good position, because once you pull off a successful Nexus first, it's not just the probe count that's good, it's the chrono boost. But look at this, we do have Polt saying, well, I don't really want you to have that advantage.
The question is, can it stop him, though? I mean, we've got the SCV already taking fairly significant damage here. Pros move down to try and deal with it. Single Marine is there to start to nibble away at these probe shields. Zealot now coming in for the interception. 2 more barracks being added on in order to try and continue this little bit of pressure, but the Marine has already been chased away. The SCV's taken a lot of damage already. Oh, he goes for the interception, and a quick dodge there by TSL Polt.
And of course the bunker will get cancelled, but he had to chrono boost. He spent 2 chrono boosts in the gateway. 1 to get the Zealot out, the second Zealot naturally came out, and then the Stalker now as well. So he does have 2 Zealots and a Stalker out, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he actually cancelled the second Zealot, and as soon as he realized that, well, that's actually easy to hold off, I actually don't need the second Zealot, and so he cancelled it and just went to a Stalker. So a smart decision there by Oz, but we are having that trademark once again, Polt build, where it's the 1 barracks command center into double barracks, leading over into the gases now, where you can add tech labs, engineering bay, and a 3rd command center coming down relatively early, actually. that's actually really early there for Polt, who isn't going to be hitting any mid-aggression at all now. And I guess that's kind of, that makes perfect sense considering he has been failing with that recently.
He has, yeah, he really does. And lately, it's all been about the 3 command centers, nice and early, start the build before the 6-minute mark. Terran players are getting greedier and greedier as they get better about holding early game aggression.
Yeah, and you know what? Going Nexus first, Polt has to be wary about any aggression. He hasn't even thrown a bunker down. He saw that Nexus first was down. He doesn't know if additional gateways have been thrown down. So he does throw down a bunker now. He can't just play without one because he could just lose straight up here. He has absolutely no idea what his opponent's doing. He's not willing to scan it all either. Oz, though, has thrown down a robotics facility and double gases, so we're actually going straight up to Colossus here. The Forge being thrown down will go for +1 attack to make the Colossus race stronger so they can tear down the Marines and Marauders faster here. But this is a style which I love from Oz. Going for fast Colossus, they shut down any mid-game aggression. You're able to secure a 3rd base as soon as the first Colossus is out. And even if he makes Vikings, you have Stalkers to bring them down there. And I think that's a great style that Oz looks to be, you know, barreling down towards.
That you do. You keep your opponent nice and honest as well, usually on the defensive, and you start to open up the possibility for that deadly switch. And as I say that, down comes the Twilight Council, which will enable him to go to Templar, but will also give him that blink advantage to jump in under the Vikings and take them down nice and easily. And at that point, the Terran player has no choice but to also get a Ghost Academy.
And with the Twilight Council and Forge coming down, that basically says I could have gone Colossus, but I'm not. Like, as soon as the second Forge and second Twilight Council, or the first Twilight Council come down, he says, no, that's not what I'm going to do here. And he actually gets the armor upgrade as well. So he will be playing a gateway-heavy style for now. And because of the natural transitions available, it will most likely, as you said, be Templar Archives. Is the tech choice to follow this up from. But right now, it's a lot of gateways down here. He doesn't necessarily have to expand. He's building an Immortal, which is a very expensive unit this early on.
Definitely.
And with the Observer, he sees the early 3rd base.
2 more gateways.
And he's adding more gateways down. So I think he's going to punish Polt for this early 3rd base and go for a 1-1 timing with Zealot's Charge, with probably a 2nd Immortal as well. And I think this is actually going to be a very straight push, and there's the pylon down.
To point this out, guys, this is an 8-gate Immortal push on 2 bases. That's fairly extreme.
Yeah, he saw that early 3rd command center and was like, well, you only have 3 barracks right now. You don't really have many units out. Your army supply is very low. It's only at 40 supply right now. With 8 gateways, I can easily catch up and overtake that. Templar Archives coming down as well. Of course, this is not an all-in per se. He can easily fall back on a 3rd Nexus here, but he's definitely looking to do lots of damage. Another Immortal coming in. And if he catches 3 units, great.
Might as well. Unfortunately, Fatty Marauder in the background is getting taken out nice and easily. Blocks off 3 of his Marine comrades from getting out of there. Nice little engagement just to start with here in the center. Polt now pushing forward with a slightly larger force. Things a little bit equal at the moment, but once those Immortals get into the mix, I don't really see Polt's force doing too well. Trying to flank around, being spotted, of course, by the Xel'Naga Tower.
And Archon being morphed straight away. He's got no time, no money to get Storm here. And he's going to try and do this. Remember, the longer he waits, the worse it gets for him, because now the extra production's kicking in, and a forward pylon is about to be planted down. The Observer sees the army. Polt has not gotten rid of that Observer, and here is a very, very strong army, and I think Polt is starting to realize what's going on as he retreats with SUVs.
It's going to be pretty grim. Combat Shield isn't even done yet. This will be a great timing for Oz to hit. He now decides to back off, however, and that should tick in any moment now. There we go. Oz looking to look for another warp in before he puts on that pressure. Throws away a couple of Zealots for whatever reason.
It's going to be rough to fight up that ramp, though.
Yeah.
So if he tries it, he's going to, lose the fight probably.
Well, with the 3rd already moving back into a safer position, it seems to me that Oz will have to wait for a game changer, really, to actually try and push that. But he's denied the 3rd for the one.
And that's actually the reason why Polt picked up the SCVs, picked up the command center, and moved them back, was because of that factory. So there's no 3rd base. It's 12 minutes. With no 3rd base, of course he has to retreat. He knows this or something is coming here. Storm now is being researched. We do have 2-2 on the way. And Polt, through all this pressure, has delayed the engineering base. He's delayed his upgrades. And Oz is going to have a clear 2-2 over 1-0 upgrade advantage while taking a third base. He can still look to attack soon when Storm is done. He has High Templar saving up energy. I think this is going to be a great setup for Oz, but we do have a drop on the right-hand side.
It has been spotted, however, at least it should have been. There was a Zealots sitting underneath it. Oz will be forced, of course, to warp in. It's a risky thing to do, to bring 2 full Medivacs off your front line when you have 8-gate Immortal knocking at your front door. 2
High Templar ready to feed back with Zealots if they drop. This could be quite nasty here. The Medivacs are quite full, and he's obviously not going to have anything to heal these units with.
Well, you ain't going in there, so says Oz, and Polt has been denied already. Nice and easily there. Great spotting, but here comes a quick little stim here by Polt. Just a couple of Marauders. Not overstimming here, but Oz doesn't want to wait any longer. He's going to go for it, and here comes the charge. Oh! The Storm is fantastic at the front. It's absolutely massive. The force field split the army in half. Oz obliterates Polt's army. A lift up there by Polt to evacuate. Oz is not going to let up.
Yeah, Zealots on the third base, destroying the middle line as well, and Oz should not attack up there, but he's in a great lead. He's got a third base down. He just has to get the units over there, probes over there to saturate it, and we do have a lot of Marauders there. Zealots, remember, 2-2 versus 1-0.
Oh, and you can see what it does. The Marauders and Marines are melting. Medivac or no Medivac, it just simply isn't relevant. The force fields are great, as well as Oz once again tears through Polt's army.
This is such elegant play here by Oz, and he's demonstrating how well he has been doing in this matchup and how bad Polt has been recently. And Polt is getting absolutely dominated. There's no other way to call this. This is so strong from Oz here, and Polt is just running back all the time.
Oh, he's about to get sandwiched as well. You ain't getting out of there in a hurry, I'm afraid. Medivac desperately dashing to try and get a pickup, but there's nothing left other than charred bones and meat on the floor. Polt falls below 90 supply, and Oz once again punishing his Terran opponent.
Yeah, and now Oz has got his third base up. He can easily throw down a robotics bay and say, what are you gonna do now? And Polt says, yeah, that's a difficult thing to deal with.
Can I have a minute to think about that?
Because he has 8 Medivacs, sure, great, but he doesn't have +1 or ship weapons.
Nope.
The Colossus is soon to have +3 armor, and of course that's the way to seal the deal here for Oz. But he doesn't need to do that. He's so far ahead. He's adding on additional gateways. He's literally just going to throw everything at his opponent. The robotics bay is coming down anyway, but with 3-3 approaching, and only +2 attack being researched. Man, this is terrible. So bad for Polt.
I hope Polt likes the sight of his base, because he's seen nothing but it all game, and it's not going to be around for much longer if Oz continues with this kind of aggression. A good stim here, but the force fields are once again absolutely stellar, perfectly landed, and Evacuous comes down, and feedback brings down yet another Medivac. Polt is getting murdered at this stage.
And even if he tries to pick up units to drop to slow his opponent down, well, he doesn't have any units to defend. Oz taking a 4th base, 3-3 now finished, robotics bay finished. Oh man, this is just a dream come true for any Protoss player here, and I think Oz played this beautifully.
He did.
From the start to the finish, he never overcommitted in areas where he didn't need to. He addressed the situation perfectly every single time, and he simply outplayed Polt in this game. Polt is still hanging on for dear life, but there's 2 Storms now available with this army.
Oh man.
No 3rd base. 4 base versus 2.
Here it comes once again. Here is the engagement driven away. I would like to show just for a second units lost. Let's have a look at the comparison. Look at how efficient Oz has been this entire game.
No, he's like I said, he's played an almost flawless game here. Absolutely perfect. Second robotics facility coming down now too, so that Colossus count about to get out of control. +1 shields, why not? 4th base, 5th base, 6th base, I don't care. He doesn't care. Polt, though, is just trying to hang on till 2-2 completes, is trying to stay in the game, because remember, his tournament life is on the line here.
It is, yeah. Oh, the Zealot is there again. Oz is everywhere in this matchup. He tracks the 3 Medivacs moving in. That may even trigger Oz to say, all right, I'm just going to fight now because I know your army is much, much smaller. At the moment, he is getting further ahead. feedbacks are prepared. The drop will come in. It won't take too much damage. There's not a lot of energy there.
He's just going to Storm, I think.
Yeah, he is. The Storm goes down. A reasonable split there by Polt, but not quite good enough. And Polt actually does some damage for the first time in this game. And uncharacteristically, Oz runs 2 full Templar into the side. Will it matter, however, as the Zealots charge in and Polt makes his last stand.
And there's the drop, still doing damage over there. And it's a nice little drop, but right now Oz is getting a little bit frustrated. He's like, God damn it, would you please just die? And he slams the front door down. He kicks it down. And, well, they're still dealing with this drop, but it's so difficult to fight up there. You lose so much, but
really
basically he's saying, all right, I won't do that. Come on, Polt. And he's waiting for Colossus, which of course don't care about that.
No, they absolutely do not. They can see up there. They will easily obliterate that army. Polt is once again holding on for dear life, as he tends to do in pretty much every game here. Oh, here we go. He's lined out. He knows how this is going to go, and this is not going to be pretty.
Close your eyes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. SCVs. Oh, they are not fighters. Oh.
GG, ladies and gentlemen. Oz with a dominant performance there over TSL Polt to start with, and I can tell you, I would not want to be an SCV in the Polt Corporation right now.
Oh my God, that was,
good Lord. Ugh, they better have great health insurance.
Oh man, oh well. Game 1 over. Oz looking absolutely fantastic here. Nick and Dan, Tasteless Autosis, what are your thoughts on that game?
Well, you know, Oz is playing a lot better right now than when I saw him, especially on day 1. I wasn't really getting impressed, but very well done. But Polt just won't die. He was dead for a long time there. That guy's micro is intense.
You know, to me, it seems like Polt is really kind of, Oz rather, is really figuring out exactly how to play his own style. You know, we've seen Oz with some weird, wonky openers, some stuff, but looks smart. There's definitely some intelligence to it. But, you know, from then, it's just, you know, he messes up and bungles it later on. But, you know, that game, he played really well.
Yeah, no question about that. And it was an interesting point that you made about Polt never dying. It's absolutely true. Every single form in the tournament we've seen him, he refuses to give up. And more often than not, he is able to actually pull that comeback out of the bag. But Oz was everywhere. He had massive economic dominance, every piece of tech he could possibly require, a huge upgrade lead. And I don't see anyone ever coming back from that position.
I mean, the difference with, like, when we see Polt pull comebacks, it's mostly against Zerg.
Yes, it is.
But against Protoss, it's a lot more difficult to make that comeback true. But it's actually fantastic as a spectator to see that attitude being enforced at such a high level here.
Yeah, he's tough. He really, really is. He absolutely refuses to give in. And that can be viewed as an incredibly positive attribute for a pro player. We're going to go quickly to a commercial break, folks. When we come back, Game 2 of TSL Polt versus Fnatic Raid Call Oz.